So hi guys. Today in this video we are going to discuss about why supply chain is emerging as an important strategic function for any organization. Before starting the main content, let me tell you what makes me eligible to speak about supply chains and on such an important topic like why supply chain is an strategic function. Because to know these things you must have some experience in supply chain. So currently I'm working as a consultant in the supply chain industry. I work with a couple of FMCG companies, CPG players, and I know some of their end-to-end processes, the IT tools that are being used, etc. I know people working in supply chain. I think this is what has prompted me to create such type of video. Obviously, there are people who have more experience than me. There are people who are very much experienced in supply chain, but the thing is, they are not making such type of video. And the ultimate source of truth for you guys is people like me who make such kind of videos. Okay, so let's start the content then. uh, Now, what is a strategic function? I'm saying that supply chain is emerging as a strategic function. What is a strategic function? In the past, let's go in the past. In the 1980s or something, we saw that organizations were investing heavily on their corporate finance function. Organizations were investing heavily in mergers and acquisition function, and we often see that people talk about these glamorous strategy consulting firms. I will not name any, but you know the lifestyle they live. From the past, the strategy consulting has been limited to very few functions, or in fact organizations have been thinking that only corporate finance is important, only marketing is important. But a couple of functions that I feel like supply chain and HR also have been disregarded by these organizations. But now, with the world completely changing, the corporate world, these functions are emerging. Now, what is a strategic function? So, when we talk about strategic function, especially supply chain, it is related to a planning that we do for long term. For example, currently this industry 4.0 is going on. So let's say a organization calls me up and says that, or organization calls its directors, board of directors, and says, let us decide on a strategic decision that what will be the tools and technologies we'll be using after 5 or 10 years in our supply chain function, or in any function for that matter, be it finance, be it HR. That is going to be a strategic decision, because ultimately after 10 years the performance of that organization is going to depend on the tools of industry 4.0 that it is going to deploy, right? So any function that has an impact in the long term on the business, that is a strategic function, and that has a major impact on its financials, on its business as well, right? So what makes supply chain a strategic function? I mean, finance is a strategic function. Obviously you get money, and from that money you will build businesses. But from the long past, supply chain have been disregarded. I mean, in the procurement function, supply chain managers have been treated as purchase guy. They will purchase something for you and you will produce it and sell it to the customer. But the ultimate source of finance is your customer, your investors, etc. The operations guy is just a backend guy sitting behind. So the first point, when you go into the income statement of any company, you will find a cost of goods sold, COGS, as a second line item there. This cost of goods sold is nothing but an output of the production procurement function only. You see there that in the income statement of a company. Then you see administrative and operations expenses, they come as a part of supply chain. The manufacturing costs, and also you see logistics expenses in your income statement, and that will also come as a part of your I mean supply chain expenses, right? So first reason is this, that many line items you see on your income statement are actually supply chain line items. This makes supply chain very important. Second thing, second thing is for many products like semiconductor electronics, we see that supply chains are global. I mean, Taiwan is supplying to US, Taiwan is supplying to Europe, or uh, Southeast Asia is supplying to Europe, US, Canada, all these reasons. So we see global supply chains, and after COVID, we have seen that these global supply chains were impacted a lot. I mean, if China stops sending goods to US, the production, I mean, the companies stop completely. What would US companies do if China stops supplying good, right? And that is what is making supply chain as an important strategic function. What if our supply completely stops, right? What if there are some logistical challenges in our supply, right? Okay. And what is the third reason? The third reason is that if you have an efficient supply chain, you could produce better margins for everyone in your network, be it distributor, be it customer, be it retailer, be it yourself. If you have an efficient supply chain, if you save costs in operational expenses, manufacturing expenses, logistics expenses, you can obviously reduce costs at the end point. And obviously, let's say that there are two companies competing in the market, they have the same product, but one company is selling it at a cheaper price because its supply chain was efficient. Obviously, customers are going to buy that product. Or one company is providing better margins for its distributors. So uh, obviously the company is going to the company the distributor is going to sell the product of that company, right? This makes supply chain a strategic function, right? So what has happened in the current past with this function, that this function has emerged. I'm not saying that this function was a strategic function long back, 40 years back, etc. Maybe let us discuss this aspect in the next video. So stay tuned to my next videos. I will be soon starting a series on supply chain. I will be not just making general videos on supply chain, but I will be giving you some industry gyan as well, that why supply chain is important and what is happening inside supply chains of very important companies. So thank you very much and stay tuned to the next video.